discussions with many of our clients and prospects, we've had certain topics highlighted to us which are huge challenges and present internal obstacles. One of which is kind of proactive surveillance and real kind of in-depth e-discovery of the data and all of that across multiple sources. The fundamental kind of backdrop to most of this is regulation that kicks in, and if you look for a really good example of that, if you look at the Dodd-Frank Act in the US, which US traders have to comply with, if the regulator asks for full records of data, that has to come back complete within 72 hours. Now, if you're a global bank, that information could be stored all over the world, and you've then got to pull all of those records for a period of time relating to a set of people. That's a hell of a lot of data. And most of the fines that the regulators are putting back is because the banks just cannot get that information back in time. Ultimately, they have the data, they just don't have the retrieval mechanism or the ability to put that in front of the regulator in the requested timely fashion. Our solution has the ability to do that, from a global lookup to an actual offering of a time-lapse secure password to a regulator that says, there you go, there is all of the data, full metadata, all the files, and an audit trail as to the duty of care and all the certification that goes with electronic records. So this again is a massive change from how you deal with the regulator. And the backdrop, no fines. And that's huge.
The challenge for banks is that the only way you can resolve that is throw people at it. Because if you think you've got a trader, he speaks for on average 5 hours a day, well, that's great, that's 5 hours of recording. When you're going to listen to a recording, you can't listen to that at 2 or 3 times speed. You've got to listen to it the speed it was spoken. So one trader speaking for 1 day is one person listening to that. Now you've got 4,000 traders. How do you listen to 1 day's worth of trading? You've 4,000 hours you've got to listen. So the idea of throwing people at this problem, kind of consultants or legal execs at the problem, is something that just doesn't scale. And so what companies are having to do now is to look for technology solutions that scale. And really, until Insightful came into the market, there hasn't been one that does that. There have been lots of little bespoke solutions that work in their own silos, but there hasn't been one that takes the entirety of the data and actually gives you a view on a timeline with insightful analytics on that entirety of data till now.
I think the difference we're seeing today, more so in the UK and probably with the MiFID regulation, the US don't seem to have decided to start penalising people yet, is the level of corporate responsibility. To us, or the outside world looking in on the financial marketplace, it's about time people went to banks. I mean, if anybody watches the movie The Big Short, and you look at the last 10 minutes of The Big Short, where they play a clip of going, this happened to the banks, this happened to the banks, this happened to the banks, and then just joking. So that just joking is, in the UK, getting stricter. So a lot of the banks or people with corporate responsibility to the organisations now have personal liability. So when they sign their name as, I don't know, Rob Houghton, Barclays Bank, or whatever the bank may be, they're actually signing it not only on behalf of the bank, they're signing it in their own name as well. So this not only means that the bank gets in trouble, but you personally get in trouble. Do I think that's right? To a degree, yes. And it depends how it gets implemented at the end of the day. But it is a major step change in what's happening in the banks.